So I'm on the way to the auto auction today, and while I was driving, I just wanted to kind of go over how I look at the resale value to try and make sure that I'm making money. Now, I've only purchased 3 vehicles. If you follow my channel at all, you know that I am only on my 3rd auction truck. I actually got the title back on that today, so that one is ready to sell. I'm going to get it listed up and hopefully sell it here in the next few days, get some cash back in my pocket, or in my bank account, I should say, from that vehicle. So here's how I'm going to value things. I quite simply am just going to take the time and roll through Facebook Marketplace and see what the prices are that people have those vehicles listed for. So an example of this is the auction that I'm on the way to right now has a 2013 Dodge Grand Caravan, right? So obviously it's an older vehicle, has 160,000 miles on it. So, you know, miles aren't too bad for being a 2013. We're talking a 12-year-old vehicle, only 160,000 miles. So not too terribly bad, right? Wasn't used a ton. But what I did was I went on Facebook Marketplace this morning and I was going through and looking, okay, how much are vehicles around that age? So I'm looking for 2010 through 2014, maybe even 2015. I'm making sure I'm looking at the same generation, right? So if they change generations of vehicles in that range, which Dodge did not, but if the vehicle I'm looking at, if they change the body styles, those sorts of things, then I'm only looking for vehicles in that same generation. And then I'm looking at the prices on them for around the same amount. That one's got 160. So I'm looking for vehicles that are 140 to say 180,000 miles, because you're not going to likely find something that's exactly the same. And so for me, I was looking at that Dodge Grand Caravan, and the prices were ranging somewhere in the listed price for 4,000 to 6,000, somewhere in that ballpark, right? The ones that were on the low end of that range had issues. They were either salvaged titles, they had a check engine light, and everybody always on Facebook Marketplace always came to, oh yeah, it's just an oxygen sensor. And it's like, if it's an oxygen sensor, then spend the 30 or 40 bucks and replace the oxygen sensor. Like, come on now. Anyway, but it was, they say, you know, oh, it's got this problem or got that problem. Those were listed in the low 4s. And then the ones that were at the 6s, you know, they may have been listed for a while, or, you know, they were a little bit nicer trim, or those sorts of things than the ones that I was looking at. So I'm looking at it thinking I can probably resell this. My guess is in the $4,000 to $5,000 range, because I'm always going to skew conservative when I'm figuring out my numbers, because I want to make sure that I would rather sell it high and make extra profit than to figure, oh yeah, I'm going to sell it for 6,000 and then I end up selling it for 5 and I really only make like a couple $100 profit or lose money because of uncertainties, right? I always want to give myself as much margin as possible on that vehicle. So on that truck, or on that van specifically, like, it wasn't showing any check engine lights. Obviously I'm going to scan it, I'm going to check it out, check out the tires, those sorts of details. But I'm going through and I'm looking at it, and that one is looking like I would probably, assuming everything looks good, which I think it does, if I'm trying to make $2,000, $2,500 on a $5,000 car, that means I'm gonna have to get it like somewhere south of $2,000, just because I got to pay the tax, the title, the tag, the auction fees. Auction fees on a $2,000 vehicle aren't that much. So like, truthfully, if I can get it for below 2,000, maybe even 2,100, I'd probably be okay with that, because I'm probably gonna list the thing like once it's fixed up, once it's clean, depending on what it needs, probably going to list it in the mid-5 range. Hopefully, hope to get it in there, because again, there's some that are listed as high as 6 or even 6,500 here in my local area for around that same age, that same miles. So I'm probably going to, you know, shoot for in the low 2s, depending on what it needs. And that's how I do the math, right? So if I can get it for 2,000, the auction's going to charge me 10%. That's 2,200. They charge a dock fee of 125. That's 2,300. Let's assume I'm going to have $700 in taxes and title and tag, which on a cheaper car is not going to be that much. Let's just assume it's going to be like 600. So that puts me at 2,900, right? If I sell it for 5, then that means I got a $2,100 profit margin, which is lower than what I shoot for. I'm always trying to get at least 25. If I sell it for 5,500, then that puts me right in that profit margin of where I want to be at. And that's assuming it doesn't need anything, which this auction, pretty much everything needs something. Whether it's got a check engine light on, I'm going to check it for codes, needs tires, needs detail, needs something to it. But that's how I'm going to go ahead and figure what I need on a vehicle at the auction.